Zimmerman, who was voted in class space to address us on behalf of the class of 2012.
Good afternoon, Cardozo class of 2012, our esteemed faculty and administrators, and our friends, family, and loved ones. Thank you for being here today. Last semester, when we had about a month left of classes, I decided it would be a good idea, before getting swept up in the hoopla of finals and graduation, to take some time to think about the things that I've learned during my time at Cardozo. To think about the kind of lessons that our professors would like us to take away from our hard-earned semesters here and put into practice as actual lawyers. And so over our Passover break, I took some time to think about what I had learned. And no matter how long I thought about it, there were three things that kept coming to mind. Three very salient lessons that I just couldn't get away from. The first was that when it's snowing out, always walk like a penguin. Never forget that. Second, I don't know who wrote this rule or where it can be found, but people get very personally offended when you violate the no taking the elevator less than 2 floors rule. And last, people will go to extraordinary lengths for some free kosher pizza. Now I have to admit, when these were the three things that I came away with, I started to get a little concerned. I started to think that maybe all those things that people say about law school education being abstract and impractical were true. But before I let myself get too down, I decided that I needed to think outside the box. To think about the policy behind the rule, as Professor Leslie has always taught us. Why would Cardozo want us to know these things? And then I realized that these lessons can be extremely effective tools at helping us to developing successful and strong relationships with our clients. Now, we've learned that, unfortunately, when our clients are in trouble, when they see the cops, oftentimes they automatically run, causing them to be needlessly arrested. Second, we've also learned that although there's supposed to be a black letter to the law, oftentimes judges rule on their own personal emotions, about whether they've been personally offended by the conduct of the parties. And last, though it seems illogical, our clinical work has certainly taught us that it can be very difficult to get your clients to court on time, if at all. And so if you think about the three things we've learned from Cardozo, and if we are sure to impress them upon our clients from the very first day of our representation, they can be incredibly helpful at helping us to protect our clients. First, we should always tell our clients that when they see the cops, walk like a penguin. Second, we always have to remind our clients that when they're going to court on their assigned court day, never take the elevator less than 2 floors so as to avoid offending the judge in their case who may be in the elevator with them. And last, please tell your clients that if they show up to court on time, free kosher pizza lunch on us. All joking aside though, when I look back on my time here at Cardozo, there's one surprising but important lesson that I've come away with. And that's how valuable a sense of community and camaraderie truly is among a group of people who are going through a tough challenge or experience together. I think we can all agree that before we came to law school, we heard a number of scary stories about what our experience would be like. Stories about people hiding books in the library, refusing to share their notes, and just generally being cutthroat and competitive. And while unfortunately, law school has lived up to the majority of those stories. I have to say that Cardozo has never lived up to that mercilessly competitive atmosphere that I feared most. I can't count the number of times that I have been pleasantly surprised by the willingness of my classmates to lend a hand. I'll never forget the first time I noticed this. It was the end of our 1L year and we were all studying for finals. I walked into a classroom and saw a section mate of mine who at the time I really didn't know well and didn't have occasion to speak to on many occasions. She came up to me and announced that she had spent the entire morning making the most incredible outline of all the contract cases we had gone over that year. And so, of course, as any normal, healthy 1L would, I responded with sheer panic. And I started to think, oh my God, I'm so behind, I'm never gonna do well. And for a split second, I thought that maybe that was the reason she told me, to make me feel unprepared. But without skipping a beat, and without any solicitation at all, she turned to me and said, hey, do you want me to email it to you? That story epitomizes my experience at Cardozo. I have been constantly and consistently overwhelmed by the ways in which my classmates, people I know well, and people I hardly know at all, have gone out of their way to lend a helping hand. Whether it was to share notes, to invite me to a study group, or just to be there when I was going through a tough, emotional time. And to me, that has made all the difference in my law school experience. And from what I've heard from students at other law schools, it is what makes Cardozo truly unique. And so, though we're about to take on some more scary challenges that we have heard plenty of horror stories about, studying for the bar, taking the bar, and hopefully starting to practice as lawyers, I feel an odd sense of calm. And not because of any confidence I have in my own personal abilities, because trust me, I have none. But it's because I know that I will be surrounded by my classmates, by people who will be there to support each other. And what's more,